Hello, everybody. Hello. How's everyone doing? Let's see. I got to get the chat window up and running. Oh, my gosh. You guys are here already? It's like the door to the house is open. And everybody comes into the front room while I'm still upstairs, you know, getting dressed. Anyway, I hope you're well. Welcome. Hello, Daniela. Hello, Brent, Dave. Lots of names. Wow, good to see you all. Oh, wow. Mac and cheese. Ooh, that sounds yummy. Hey, Sonny. I have a niece that lives in Phoenix, and she sent me some storm video footage. You guys are getting some crazy monsoon storms down there, it seems. Tim Dale is in the house. Good to see you all. Welcome. My name is John Skippy Limcool. This is the Plugin Guru channel. It says you're not. Oh, you know what I got to do? I have to go over here and pause this. There. That should help. I have a widget. Stream health is poor. Okay. Let's do this. You are going to quit. I will not be showing any pictures from there, I guess, because Lightroom's not updating, and it needs to update because I've got a whole lot of new photos. I just got back from a really cool trip. Let me see. I'm going to reload this page. You guys are going to disappear chat-wise for a second, but hopefully it will give me a better update. It still has this error message, but hopefully it's going to get better. If you guys are experiencing video stutter and stuff like that, let me know. Hey, there's Shane. He is in Nova Scotia. He's on vacation as well. It's better now? Okay, good. Yeah, I was running Lightroom and it's trying to update its photo database and it's not updating it. Hey, Gendel, good to see you, my friend. Welcome all of you guys. So I spent the last 5 days with my kid. And it was a great trip, wonderful trip. I drove it 640 miles. I drove it it takes about 8 hours, 7 hours, about eight and a half hours. Well, I drive it straight shot, just 2 stops for gas along the way. She lives in San Francisco. So I stayed a night in San Francisco in a sketchy part of San Francisco, which Tenderloin is one of those areas that you don't want to be at during the night in a lot of cases. It's crazy. But we went to Monterey and we had some really nice times. We went to the aquarium there. We did the drive here. I can share this with you. This is a nice photo I took of what's called the Lone Tree on the 17-mile drive. Oh, I did take a picture of Hannah. I can show you that. On the beach. Just love this kid. Sweet, sweet, sweet little girl. Anyway, we had a wonderful trip. Good charging of the spirit. We went to this really cool little souvenir shop. And I wanted to get this when I was in Mexico. And I couldn't find any place that sold rose crystal. And so I found a place there. And I bought Hannah a chunk. And I have a chunk. Sitting here next to me. There's all sorts of attractive powers to rose crystal. It's a wonderful energy. San Miguel de Allende, the city that I was at where I made Mega Magic Pads 2, is built on a mountain that's basically a whole rose crystal quarry underneath. It's crazy. So I couldn't find a place to buy it there, so I got some here. And I love rose quartz. It's great energy, so that will attract all sorts of cool things for work and energy and life and all that stuff. And my crystal and Hannah's stayed in the same little tabletop in her room for the night, so they are linked. Or so we say. So that if she needs it, she can hold it and draw from my powers that are up here in this rose quartz, whatever. But it's really fun. Great thing to do. So, hey, Night Whiter, good to see you. All right, so I want to point out this video is sponsored by my website, pluginguru.com. And I have a nice little sale going on. There's the Mega Magic Pads and Mega Magic Guitars libraries. If you go to this and you see this banner, you can click it, and it will take you to what's called the current promotions page. And all these libraries are on sale for until September 1st. And Mega Magic Guitars Part 1, 2, the bundle, which is a great way to get both of them for the price of one, is available. Mega Magic Pads and Mega Magic Dreams are also on sale. I'm going to show them to you here in a second. Also today, I'm going to be showing you a free plugin that I call kind of a character type of a plugin, and it's actually nice. And there's Athena saying hello. It's a multi-effect plugin that can shape and do all sorts of really nice things to the sound that you're working with to give it character. So it's not just by itself. And it's really, really cool, and it's free. So I'll show you that. Also, we have unified. In fact, I need to get the link up. Last week we put up that we've unified the PS20 from Cherry Audio. So all of these sounds, we want to combine those two. Boom, done. This and this sound great together. It's really fun to have the flexibility in Unified to combine patches, even from the same synth or from one synth. Let's option and click the bullet over here, and that makes that go away. Or let's go to the Korg Prophecy. And this is also, all 260 patches have been unified. Right click and say add to a new Unify layer, and boom, now we have a prophecy. Right? Let me get you the link, because you guys are going to be like, where's the link? Where's the link? So let's go here to the unified libraries. I put it up here just a short while ago. Copy the link. I'll put it first. Thank you for telling me I did that. I'm going to first put it into our chat here. I'm also going to put it in the edit of the video description. Just unified. Oh, 260 factory patches. All right. Save. So in the video description is also the link. Reload the page if you want it to update the video description to get you the link to download the Korg Prophecy Unified Library. And this is like a version 0.9, I'd say. I've made a couple bonus patches for this, and we need to go through this and do a little bit more work. For some reason, I'm not sure exactly why, but the patch name is not right. The patch itself is right. The BPM patches, everything call up and sound like they're supposed to. By the way, the ARP patches, we turned on the ARP because in side of Prophecy, they couldn't save it in ARP state, but we can. So they're all there to play with, synchronize and everything. But there's something weird where the patch names are not showing up with the correct name. So be aware it does that, but the patch works. Sounds the way as it does. It's the exact same sound. Volume balance is off. Probably the synth is now, to show you, to make sure that you're clear on how this works, you go to the little plugin icon in Unify. Make sure when you scroll down to where you get to Prophecy, here we go. You want to make sure it says VST. And if it doesn't, go to Operations, Scan, and this will take you to, you can get to your VST folder. Let's see if I go like, I can show you this way. So it's Macintosh HD library, the main library, audio folder, plugins, and then VST folders are here. Go VST, and we should see Prophecy right here, say open. That will add it to the database. On a PC, it's the same process. Just the location for the VST folders are different and can be all over the place because they can be in different locations. But find the Korg Prophecy VST plugin or the .dll, I think, on a PC. And by doing that, now you can load these patches. And so second half of this live stream, I'm going to give you guys a tour. We'll make a patch or two together with the Prophecy. Click right here. You can say initialize and play. Okay. And we'll explain the interface. We'll talk about, it's a little confusing how they have down here displayed, but it's just to allow you to see two things at once. I thought this was like two different channels and like there's one set of envelopes and then a whole different set of envelopes. It's the same four envelopes, four LFOs, pitch EG and amp EG, but you can just see two different envelopes at the same time. If I click EG3, see how it's grayed out over here? So I can't show it over here. So I could show EG2, I could show any of the LFOs or the amp EG and an LFO. Whatever I want to show, it will allow me to see them just simultaneously. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that. At first I was like, is there some way like this set of parameters can go to this set of LFOs and EGs? And it's like, no, it's one set of envelopes and LFOs. It's just, this is a display help to get you to be able to see two from a whole bunch of different possible envelopes and LFOs, which is actually really smart. It's a cool interface designed to design it that way. But we'll get into all the specifics of that stuff when we get to it. Let's do this. I'm going to show you a little bit of Mega Magic Dreams. This is the first library that I did for Omnisphere where I loaded in new samples. And the situation, the story behind Mega Magic, I've repeated it many times, but there's a lot of you that are new, so I'm going to just summarize it. Omnisphere allows you to load a single sample in for a patch to play across the keyboard. You can't map them across the keyboard like you can in a normal sampler where, you know, every 5 notes or every note for certain sounds, you can have a sample. It's only one sample. They don't want to be a sample player. They don't want to compete with Kontakt. That's been Eric's mantra for many, many years. And so we'll see. Maybe at some point they'll be like, well, maybe it's time. But right now, it's only one sample. Now, Mega Magic pads, I'll show you in a minute. I'm using multiple patches and windowing where one sample plays in one part of the keyboard range, etc., etc. Well, since you only have one sample, It's like, what can you do with one sample? Especially, you know, if you want to do something beyond just like synthesize with waveforms and stuff. And I was, what about reverb? And so I recorded samples with like 15 seconds of reverb. And what happens is you can play up high, and that reverb sustains out so that it doesn't fade out. The other thing that's really cool that was kind of an afterthought, the reverb is frozen to that sample. So as I play multiple samples, right? If I was to go to just, let's say, water verb, which is a beautiful reverb, make it really nice and long, full mix. Let's say we just go to through sampler, we choose, say a synth. And then let's put water verb massively on this, right? Now, if I play chords, let's have it ring out even longer, because hear how that reverb, it just becomes a wash. That doesn't happen when the sample has the reverb in it. It rings out with only the reverb pertaining to the notes that are playing. So it's always clean. It doesn't turn into a mud bath, right? So Mega Magic Dreams has all sorts of guitars, the keys, the pianos. Where's the dream piano? And it's this really cool magical thing. So if you do music where you need magical, it's lovely. And you combine them, and then it gets even more lovely. Let's add something from synth. Let's add Analog Dreams to this. And now, get rather epic too, right? So, strings. Stuff like that. Now, there are multis that I made for this, combining things inside of Omnisphere. So these are all available. We put multi at the beginning of the names so that they would be always ready. Bossa Nova. I developed this, the OMG mapping. I'm using this inside of Unify too, but low C starts up arpeggiators playing sounds. Stuff like that. So there's all sorts of funny ways to, not funny ways, but interesting ways. Dreamland. So this is a library for Omnisphere. It's not for Unify, but there's a Unify version available that comes with it. You have to own Omnisphere. It calls up Omnisphere patches to play. The nice thing with the Unify version is you can just right click and add additional patches to this in seconds. And now we've got a new multi. Right? That's the power of Unify, is to take any synthesizer that's got patches, let you play with the patches in cool ways. The library itself is inside of Omnisphere. There's artwork. There you go for the samples and all that kind of stuff. If we go here to the library, Mega Magic Dreams, here are the same patches. So you can call them up from here. Comments, all that stuff are here. Right? But it's just, I enjoy working inside of Unify because I have open creative doors all the time available. So, all right. When you play by a pedal, yeah, you can do that with pedals, sure. All right. Let's request that we try to keep on topic in the discussion. I see a lot of talking about other topics. You guys do what you want, but it's kind of hard for people maybe to focus when that's going on. Now, the second library I want to show you is Mega Magic Pads, which is right here. Let's do this. I'll show you first inside of Omnisphere itself, so you know how to access it. This is one where, in order to access it, you need to click the multi button to get to the main library. Then go down here to Mega Magic Pads. That's because these multis call up 6 different samples. And in stack mode, when you turn on stack mode, you can limit the range of each patch to be somewhere across the keyboard, right? So I have it set up so that it's playing these 6 samples. Right? So now let's take this pad. This is Purity Committee. Let's go here, initialize multi. And let's go to part 1 and just play one sample of Purity Committee so you can see the difference. Here, sample. Let's just go to the raw source. We'll go over here to user directories, to Mega Magic Pads. And go down the list. Here's all those samples. Purity Committee right here. So if I choose one sample to play across the keyboard, it loses so much of the magic. Because it's just one sample instead of being 6 different samples. Here, if we mute this, Mega Magic Pads, Purity Committee, let's load up the multi version. And here it is. Hear how the low end. Will there be a unified version of Mega Magic Pads for Contact? Yeah, I need to do that. It's on the list. Since Contact 2.6 came out, we actually have Mega Magic Guitars unified for Contact. I just need to write down the instructions. Thanks, Lowell. Nice of you. Do you hear that low end? If we mute this and go back to the individual single sample, and then let's take it down an octave so that it's the same. It's taking the sample that's normally a higher pitch sample and trying to play it down low. It doesn't sound anything like the full multi-sampled version. So That's why we have to use multiple patches inside of Omnisphere to get libraries like Mega Magic pads. I believe these that don't say multi are just a single patch version. So if we go to something like Spiteful Spirit Dry, now we call the multi version. And there's samples with all of that low energy there instead of it playing high samples slow. Right? Now I took each one of these and took it from Spiteful Spirit Dry, from down here to Spiteful Spirit Dry Synth. Same samples, but with a fast attack. In this case, there's actually two. There's also... So each pad has a cousin that's a fast attack. Right? So both these libraries, they were so fun to make. This was actually using only software synths and effect processing and so forth. But what did I use a lot of? I'd have to go back to the notes to remember what I used. Absinthe was used a lot. I used Sculpture from Logic Pro X. It's a really cool big plugin. So, and a number of other synth plugins. I don't remember the list off the top of my head. But 2, 3, 4 different sounds. The difference between this and Mega Magic Pads version 2A, this is strictly for Unify, so you don't have to use any other plugins to get it to work. There's pad and synth versions of everything. And here I give you the components. Instead of Mega Magic Pads 1, where everything's just in a stereo sample and that's it, you still have that here with the all version, right? But then you also have them separated out. So you have each of the components. And all of those combined together give you So that Mega Magic Pads 2 kind of took it a step farther with making it more flexible for you guys to play with. So that's those three libraries. I just want to touch on those. I think each live stream, since I have 80 plugins, live sound libraries, I want to just highlight different libraries for a little bit of time in these live streams, just to remind you. And you know, some of these came out 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And they're still great libraries. Sounds are still totally applicable to all sorts of stuff. So, and they're both on sale right now. So Mega Magic Pads and Dreams are available. Okay. So let's take this sound. Let's add character to it with this free plugin I'm going to show you. That's right. Tim says using the word Mega Magic in almost any other industry would probably not work. And he's right. So there's a company called Cymatics. They have made patch libraries. Let me take you to their page, cymatics.fm. They have their 6th anniversary sale going on. And in celebrating of their anniversary, they've released Origin, which is a free, what they call vintage plugin. I call it character plugin. And basically it's saturation, random movement, noise, which has great record noises and stuff, chorus, and then sample rate conversion with a number of different algorithms and a high pass filter. So you have all of these effects in a single effect to play with. And they made it all 3D. Isn't that cool? but it's free. You just go free download, put in your email address, and you'll get, they are very active with their social promotion and stuff like that. You can unsubscribe anytime you want. But this plugin just took it from to turn it on. And then you can scroll through the patches with little button clicks here, right? Hello. So the harmonic over. And this type of sample rate conversion, there's one that they do in particular that's been used a lot lately in music production, which is pretty cool. So let's go Cloud City. I'll have it play one of the big BPM split things, and then we'll put origins on so you can hear what you can do to a mix. Let's say something like, well, these song ideas are kind of cool. So say song idea 4. Let's go over here, audio, Cymatics, Origin. If you have a sample rate on the what's called post, it does an additional filtering where it does not allow the aliasing frequencies to be heard. Like without post on, you hear all that chiming and stuff, but if you turn on post, it's a cool effect. So you'll want to use this in your music productions, I'm sure. And then the high pass filter is there so you can get rid of the mud. So add a little saturation. Add some noise, and you have a whole list of different noises, different record noise, so you can add some movement. There's a slow and a fast one. And if you move this, it jiggles. So if you want, you can do such things inside of Unify. Go to a knob, and let's go up here to the link parameters. This is on the master, so if you go to the master effect, here's Origin. They give you access to all the parameters. So we could have global UI size can be automated. Cool. Resample frequency, so we can have it so start high. We can listen in Unify, which is wonderful to hear where we want it to stop. And then I'm gonna also go over here and let's add another parameter to this. Let's go Origin, saturation depth. And I wanna bring up the saturation depth as it gets darker. And I'm gonna change the curvature so that it goes more towards less sooner, right? So it gets it's heavy here, but in here, dying out more. And then just for fun, let's add some movement. So go mixer, effect, origin, movement depth. Cool. Now I have a really messed it up knob, so. Totally messed up. And you could easily assign each of those to different knobs. That's why there's 32 knobs. Because you have access inside of Unify to every freaking parameter of every plugin, all of the instruments on every channel, no matter what plugin it is. OBXD, boom, there's all the parameters. So you can go in and tailor these knobs to do whatever you want. And so you can do stuff like this. Cool. So it's a free plugin from Cymatics. Thank you guys. Congratulations on being in year for 6 years. Such young puppies. Hey, Jason just showed up. Hi, Jason. Rocky Mountain Sound. So Tim Dale and Rocky Mountain Sound Jason. I'm going to put some of their libraries for sale after the live stream. So check into that promotions page. And there's going to be, I think Saberfy is there already. It's cool. I gotta see one thing. I'm really curious. So here we have the plugin. I'm going to automate the UI size. I want to see what that does. So go to Master Effect UI size, and as I change this, it probably doesn't change until you close and reload it. Right, so if I say large and then close and now open, huh? Nope. Oh, that is large. And then if I change it to small and then reopen it, yeah. So if you're in a live show and you've got plugins that you have to open at different points, you can automate the size of the user interface if you want. So oh, with the patch, Danielle is talking about plasmonic. If they're distorted, you'd want to look to see where in the audio signal chain, if it's distorting up here, then you can turn down your volume here. It's possible it could be a distortion inside of plasmonic itself, which means you have to go into the plugin and find out where the volume mat right here, the mix knobs right here are for inside of OBXD. So you turn these down to get it to not overdrive. If it's overdriving because of the mixer or the mastering effects, you can fix that inside of Unify. It's kind of one of those like rivers. It could be different places and different parks along the stream of the river that could be causing distortion. Okay. Let's see here. Are you planning to do your own arpeggiator for Unify? Good question. Nothing we're going to be able to announce, but it's possible. You just got to realize if we do that, that means we don't do anything else for Unify for a long period of time, because an arpeggiator would take a lot of work to develop and design, and Shane's the only person that's doing the writing for code. So we have to be really judicial with where we want to go, how we get there, what we can do along the way. Right? Plus, there's some incredible arpeggiators out there. And, you know, if somebody's already done a great arpeggiator, why do we need to do one too, you know? Here, if I hold down init, get to a single. You know, this is using right now MIDI box to play MIDI file. I can't say I love to blab about what we're going to be working on, but I've learned I just can't do that because I end up painting myself into holes that are hard to get out of in the future. So I'll just say that's a good idea. But back to the subject at hand. Here's without Cymatics Origin. Need some character. Much better. You could even check this out. Let's say we load up our own MIDI box, which is cooler than an arpeggiator in some respects because it can polyphonically play MIDI files. And let's go to Unify standard library. And let's say chord MIDI files. Let's use that. Let's put origins on it just to show you, even with a sine wave, like I said, there's quite a few presets. There. Just the sine wave. Off you go, right? So, yeah, we haven't heard from Stephen K lately. If you use any version of Cakewalk, yeah, there seems to be something going on with the latest version of Omnisphere. Did I upgrade? I think I did already. There's supposedly, I think that the idea being that you could then have a clean channel that bypasses all the effects. You get to the outputs or something. This new audio output option of which I think is, I haven't read the documentation, but I think it bypasses all the other effects, master effects. I don't know why they did it. I don't know the reasoning, but this has messed up Cakewalk and Sonar. This will, of course, be fixed in software over time. It's just at this particular moment in time, in August, what is this? August 14th, 2021, there's a little hiccup with the latest update of Omnisphere. It's nothing major, nothing that's going to break anything big time. If they do need to fix it, whether it's on the Sonar side or on the Omnisphere side, because it has affected, in Tim's case, it's affected music files that he's got. So it is a deal. I'm not trying to play it down, but it will get fixed. I know that. Okay, so if you want to play with the cool character plugin, I can highly recommend Origins because it's flexible, there's automation, multi-effects. You've got choices down here for chorus. They did both of the Juno 106 courses, version 1 and 2. So this is just a toggle, I believe, between different types of overdrive, saturation. The wobble has 2 different variations. And I think there's 2 variations for how the noise works. Anyway, it's free. It seems like a very good no-brainer to me. So there you go. Okay, let's get to Prophecy. Woot! So the Korg Prophecy has been unified, which means all of those patches for the cool new Prophecy plugin synthesizer came out a long time ago. I think 91. When did the Korg Prophecy come out? When did... 1995. Okay. Now, I want to point out that Jeremy Hall, who's not here today, thank you so much, Jeremy, for doing these. He did knob assignments so that we have 8 knobs set up. Inside of the Prophecy, there are 5 real-time performance knobs, and those are all set up and turned on so that you can change parameters. Not only that, but one that's really cool is the one that changes from mono to poly. So you can take any patch that's mono, and now it's so you're able to quickly change any of the patches that you want to try. What would that be that could play polyphonic chords? Right? So it's pretty cool to have a mod wheel. I will point out also this one that says wheel 3. It's changing the X, Y, and Z of the wheel 3, which is this wheel that can go up and down. And it has a ribbon. And how do you get to Z? I think Z is the pressure on the ribbon itself. Those are all set up right here. It's doing all of those simultaneously. And if you go to the linked parameters, you can have a lot of fun by inverting certain parameters to be in different directions and then move the knob. It's a whole different thing when they're all going in different directions. You can also change the depth, so if something's going too far, I can change this. As you see, the wheel actually changes inside the plugin too. I only want to go to this max value, and I want the curve to be like this so it goes there quicker. Very, very cool. So all of them are set up that way. The BPM patches, I spent last night and this morning with very, very tired eyes going through, setting it to sync. And I want to point out, if you want patches in Prophecy and you're not using Unify, there's a sync button up here that needs to be on for it to listen to your clock sequencer. And then if you go here to the LFOs, you need to turn on BPM and in some cases turn on key for the parts that are supposed to be syncing and doing a certain patterns and so forth to work. And now you can go to the divisions and have it be up to 30-second notes or half notes. So you have a division of clock choice you can set up once you've turned on BPM. Right? So be aware of that. If you're calling this up in your sequencer and it doesn't work, it's probably because I don't think the factory patches are programmed. Let's do this. This is Techno Hit. Well, here. No, let's do this. Let's go to one of the BPM patches because these are sustaining out. There's ARP, which has the arpeggio turned on. Then there's also BPM, which has such things as like the bass with the pickup motion. And I have this all set up, so if I go to the Unify Standard Library and I call up one of the drum grooves or something like, let's say, BPM drum, one of these guys, and say, Jakarta, break down the groove, load this, there's sync. Right? So I can go to any of the other, this is what's fun when everything is synchronized up. Go over here, back to Prophecy, and we could go to ARP. And let's add the ribbon into a new Unify layer. And now we've got 2 Prophecies and a drum group. Oh, this one's not finalized in that I don't think, let's go to prophecy. Let's see, we've got sync turned on, probably not key. Let's find the parts that are supposed to be plugin. Oh, this is using the ARP. So go to ARP and there's a button called key sync. Turn that on. Okay, that's what's going on here. Why are you pick up motion base? So click here for the patches. Go to, actually, you can also just do this as a search window here. Pick up. Call it up by default. This is how it comes from within Prophecy when you get the plugin. And it's not synced, right? So you have to go to the synth, have to go to the random LFOs and turn on BPM. And now, oh, BPM, and then set the value to be like, I think 4 or 2. There's something else that needs to be BPM set up. LFO1. Those are all really slow, so this might be. So, oh, sync. I have to turn on sync up here, and then set it to 8th notes, and then we go up here to 4th. There. So, again, I didn't have sync turned on up here, so you want to turn sync on. You want to go to turn on BPM, set the value where it needs to be, and then it will work. But it doesn't have sync on by default when you call it up inside of your DAW. So any of these that you want to work that's BPM based, if let's say, what category is this? See how it doesn't work? Turn on sync, still doesn't work. So you got to go BPM, set this to 4. Now it works. So there's a little bit of extra work. They didn't make it DAW friendly. It can be DAW friendly, but they didn't do that stuff to it. So be aware of that specifically for things that have rhythm. For the basses and so forth like this, you won't notice that because it's just playing. Okay. Let me give you a tour of the interface. How does this look on screen? Over here. All right, you can see everything. My color's off today. I have a new ring light, and yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Let's get brighter. See if I can fight the blue. Don't want reds. There. That's better. You get any brighter? No, you can't get brighter. There, that's better. Okay. Nice tour of color lighting. Okay. So this is the interface. Basically, as I think I talked about it last week when we talked about this a little bit. It's a 2 oscillator synth with a sub and noise and a filter. But what makes it unique is that right here, it has some really unique models. Also, what makes it unique is down here, you see there's a wave shaper to each oscillator. This is similar, but not similar to the Korg 01W. That was also with a wave shape block, but this is with a DSP synthesizer instead of samples going through it. So if we go up here, let's say initialize program. And here's your interface. So standard means just a standard waveform. You have your choice between square and saw. they have a ramp, more triangle sub bass, just there. If you want to use it, it's available. Just to thicken out the sound a little bit. Form is interesting. I think on square, it does pulse width. And it will cancel out. It's really cool on square, on the sawtooth. It'll like take it up an octave. Now modulation is done down here. There's an LFO, the L, that means LFO. You can choose which of the 4 LFOs you want it to be, and then you click here to choose what you want the depth to be. If you double click, it resets it to 0. The M means modulation, and if you click M, you get access to a window with all of the built-in LFOs, envelopes, pitch EG, amp EG, and then things like even the portamento value can be used as a modulation source. The wheel, the wheel number 3 for its different CC numbers that it's working with are there and available, as well as the ribbon, which is ribbon X. That's normally what you'd see right here, right? So you have access to, if I want this to be LFO modulated, I could just click and drag in here. And I could choose from all sorts of different wave shapes. You could say square. Now it's doing, because my form is here, I could go up to max, and now there's all sorts of randoms. Right? A couple of things that are nice is the you have an offset to shift the value in one direction or another off from the center 0 point. You also have delay, which will give you a certain amount of time before it starts. And then you also have fade in, which will let you do like nice soft vibrato, like vocal things where it slowly fades in automatically. Here, no delay. Here, fading in. Let's also have this same LFO do the filter. So go LFO 1. Hear how it starts with nothing and comes up. So you can do some cool things like that. The wave shape is really cool. Let's bring up our filter. You also have edge, which will let you get to like dirty, older waveform instead of a perfect sawtooth. So you so nice to play Prophecy polyphonically, must admit. Other things to point out, there's a unison mode, and you can set it to unison with detune and spread and still play polyphonically. The way you do that is by setting your unison to 4 voice. Let's say set one note equals 4 voices. Then go to, I think it's the effects page. This has the program settings, and just set your max number of voices. It will go up to 256 voices of polyphony. If I set this at 4, then it would just be monophonic with 4 voices. Right? But I can't play chords because max is 4. So if I set it to 8, that would be 2 notes. 20 would be 5 notes. 32 would be 8 notes of polyphony. So now at 32, I have unison and I have polyphonic inside of the Prophecy, which is pretty cool. And notice the character change here. That's very different than a filter cutoff, which is cutting frequencies. This is doing something interesting at the oscillator level to degrade the sound. Then you go down to the wave shaper. Let me show you this real quick. You have a dry and a wet. If the wet's at 0, you don't hear anything. So let's bring up the wet and bring down the dry. So now the sound's going through the wave shaper. And there's all sorts of sync kind of stuff. It's like sending noise into it. So just go over here, set LFO 1, and that alone will give you all sorts of... You're into all sorts of dubstep, bass music territory. Especially if you set this to like 12 voices of Pliffin, let's say. So you can get disgustingly carried away pretty quickly with that. Oh, all right. Bye, Shane. Shane's gone, I guess, already. Yes, R&R. So anyway, Wave Shaper is really cool. You can get all sorts of cool characteristic things out of it. But you won't hear it if you have dried down and you don't have any wet bounce up. I don't have an oscilloscope here, but if you could see, you would see it shaping this. And there's two types of wave shaping. Clip. Which you can combine with the dry. So on top of the two oscillators, you have a sub, which has semitone, waveform, turn on clip here. You can get into all sorts of cool let's see. Yeah, the guitar library, I'm holding off on getting anybody excited until we're working on some system update things for Unify. They kind of go hand in hand. So when I know that the system will be updated for Unify, then I can show you the library because it will be available. But the library won't work without the update. So we will get guitar phrases is coming, and I got other stuff in that direction too. So it's really, really exciting times. So as you can see, between the noise, sub, and then feedback, you have two output chains that you can send and route the different oscillators to. Parallel means that filter 1 is for oscillator 1, oscillator 2 gets filter 2, so I could like darken this dude. But if I brought this sub, that's on this second filter right here. So you have two filters, two possible routes of audio. It's a lot to play with. That's why there's so many cool sounds. And this is just with standard. Once you get back to initializing and you go to some other settings, the comb filter, This takes some setting up to get an envelope to excite the comb filter. BPM is FM synthesis. So just at the oscillator level, there's some really cool open or mute. Read. Get the growl. And then you have different instruments. Baritone sax. Certain ones. Takes energy to actually make it sound. If you play lower down, the energy takes longer to build up. Which, if you put this into all sorts of cool effects, sounds really cool. Right? So remember, you have all the toys inside of Unify if you're playing with this inside of Unify. The effects in here are a little cheesy. I will not lie. The reverb. I would much rather have the effects that are part of Unify versus very metallic, no motion, no magic, right? But it is still reverb you can use just the same, and it does give it the classic sound that it had. So you have all these monster. There's also, I should show the brass. There's different presets for the horn. And somewhere in here, no, at the Z1, they perfected the horn to have the harmonic overtones. I don't think they could do that in the Prophecy. That was part of the improved modeling. And then pluck. You have control over the string position, loss. So if you want to get pizzicatos, rounds. You can have velocity controlling this. You set it up, and then velocity gives you control of to the max that you set. So anyway, you have these parameters to play with these different models that are really fun. And then, as I showed you for a brief second, there is an effects section with distortion, wah, delay, EQ, chorus, reverb. Here's your voice settings. The ARP is here. You have the different patterns to choose from. Turn it on with the little ARP button up here. And you have velocity and the gate amount. And set to key sync. Let's see if I go to here. Here you go, like that. One thing I noticed is that the arpeggiator does not listen to sustain pedal. So if you play this, take your hand off, it doesn't work. So any synth that you have where the sustain pedal doesn't work, just go to the little yellow to the left of that plugin, go to the utility MIDI effects, go to MIDI filter, sustain pedal, emulate. Just by doing that, that works. And I also found it's very helpful because the sounds are soft. You could use stereo gain. Auxiliary effects, add a nice delay. Right? So the best way to learn the prophecy is probably to go through patches and then study the parameters of what they did to make it work. So let's do a couple, I'll show you how I evaluate patches. So let's open this up. Like I told you, for some reason right now, Unify isn't saving the name of the patch. So even though it's called house bass, it still says prophetic steps. But the parameters are all there for bass house. And you can see it's using 2 oscillators set to standard. You can check here where the wet is to see if it's using the wave shaper. They're using a bit of wave shape. Hard to tell what it's doing because the filter is down. The chain is serial 2, which means that it actually bypasses oscillator 2, so oscillator 2 isn't even being used. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. And then filter 1 is shaping it some. And then there's another filter with resonance for the body that the sound goes through right after filter 1. Right? So you can change the cutoff of each of these filters to get all sorts of different characteristics when you're playing this in the mix. If you need the release to be longer, go to amp EG. The amp has its own envelope. Bring up the time. And then they're using envelope 2, so go to envelope 2 and bring up the release time of it as well. So it sustains out. See here where it says E2? That means it's using envelope 2 for this amount in the little pink area that you see. And here's the shape for it. I mean, the best way to learn synth programming is to pull apart patches that are already done and see what was done, and feel free to change them, because you can always go back here, hit house bass again, boom, you're back to the way it was to start, because that's always saved on the hard drive of your computer. So the sounds in memory, go to envelope, what was it, envelope 2. Play with it, right? That's the easiest way. I love the conversations you guys have, crack me up. I'll keep doing my thing. You guys keep doing your thing. If you have questions about prophecy, pop them up. Yes, you can tweak sounds in Nexus. The samples are more complete in a lot of cases because they're sampling full synth patches, but there's still filters and pitchy Gs and all sorts of stuff to work with. Not to mention the effects. Nexus is wonderful. Okay, let's go to a lead sound with the wind stuff. These are kind of fun to study. Flute-ish. So soft. And then it's not. But now you can open up Prophecy's interface and see that it is indeed using reed set to the flute. Envelope 1. With maximum velocity, so let's double click to set that to 0. Try play with it, see what's going on. Using a bandpass filter. So you can find the frequencies you want to hit. Turn on key tracking. But are there other synths in the Korg collection in the queue to be unified? Yes. WaveStation and M1 are in the works. If any of you want to dive in, you can go to the Plugin Guru forums. The guys are talking about it and organizing. There's 2 or 3, 4 guys that are working on it. People, I shouldn't say guys, because I think they're guys. But forums.pluginguru.com. And if you come down here to Unified Libraries, seeking help for the WaveStation, I believe the M1 is also a topic to be found down there. Jeremy has done some Loom 2 Unified, Synth 1 by Dachi Labs. It's buggy on the Mac, but it's great on the PC. There's all sorts of stuff going on here that are additional beyond the official libraries that are unified that I post on my page, on the Plugin Guru Unify page. So yeah, we're in the works with WaveStation and M1, but those are huge numbers of patches because of the cards and everything like that. And we're working on getting an automated process that gets everything, including the patch names, into Unify saved. The strings, the cello is really cool. I loved how this came out. Arco cello-ish. Let's study this for a minute. So this sounds like it's probably using the wave shapers. Yeah. Full volume wave shapers. A lot of times the way that I learn about synthesis, about how a certain synthesizer works, is play with the parameters and let it get extreme so you hear harmonically. I mean, I'd never use it that way. But knowing it can get that bright, I might go to the modulation sources and set it to like a pitchy, or like an envelope 3. And it's got a snap for our time. Because then you know you've got those frequencies to play with. When it's like this, even if you want it to rest down here, you can play with those to shape the sound in cool ways. That's cool. You don't know that if you don't play with the parameters. Right? So don't be afraid of playing with the parameters, starting with it sounding one way. And this goes for Plasmonic, other synthesizers that are using these wave shaping technologies. You'll find all sorts of like cool, happy accidents. Right? And once you play those parameters, you'll find cases where you can turn this into a cool clav. Just by shaping it in a certain way. So I wish they would have made these bigger than a little tiny single pixel. So, play with it. Try out the different parameters. Here's your mixer, so you can go. Just because it is what it starts as, turn on unison, use detune. You can come to all sorts of new sounds. Let's go over here to the amp G. Oh, that puts a recycling energy into it. Kills it. For all sorts of cool, unusual new sounds, this is a fun place to go. It's creating, because of these different models and the different types of oscillators, these are non-standard territory. It's not just sawtooth and triangle waveforms and stuff like that, right? Is the UI scalable? I don't believe so. They do have screen size, so you can choose different sizes to it. So I guess it is scalable, yes, but it's not like you can click and drag it. But yeah, you can go up to 160, down to 120. So remember, Prophecy was the first of the physical model instruments that Korg did. This is like, we used to have this program that was designed by the guys at Korg R&D called SynthKit, where you could object-oriented drag things around to design the physical model itself and all the coefficients. And I mean, it is mind-numbing. I used it to do algorithms for the wave drums. And it was really, really cool. You could get to some really weird places and actually very accurate places with how it worked. And the Z1 took the concept of the Prophecy and made it even better. I wouldn't doubt if next version or two, at some point, I'm sure Korg will introduce and include the Z1, which had definitely better algorithms for these starting points of brass, reed, pluck, which then got taken even farther if you go to today for the Kronos and the Kronos 2 and the Nautilus. Those are like, you know, almost 20 years of research into the actual algorithms themselves. Yeah. Maybe it's a really dumb question, but is it less on CPU when loading Omnisphere patches into Unify? So here's the thing. CPU power-wise, Unify doesn't do anything magical like for Omnisphere, unless you're playing a multi that's calling up more than one patch of Omnisphere. You actually could, if you really wanted to take, if you have a patch you wish you were playing in Omnisphere and it's causing power problems, you could split it between different, there's a number of ways to do that. But the concept with Unify, where the power is that we distribute, each layer gets its own CPU core that it grabs a hold of. So in a lot of cases for something, it will call up, we have it call up multiple patches on multiple Omnisphere layers. If you're trying to use Omnisphere in your sequencer and you have it playing 5 parts on different MIDI channels, split that out to 5 different Omnispheres. And by doing that, it will work better because each channel strip, each thing in your DAW will go to its own CPU core that it grabs a hold of. So, Herbie! Hey! Mr. Herbie Hancock is in the house. By the way, I have to tell you, I am so excited. Let's see here. Where is it? Herbie is going on tour, guys. And if you are going to be anywhere near the places he's playing, make sure you get out and see the cat do his thing. Because, let's see, tour. He's going to be in September. He's going all over the place. I can't wait. He's coming on the 22nd to here in Portland into Troutdale, Oregon, which is like not too far away from me. So good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Glad you're here, man. So if you're in Los Angeles, I was doing like I can't believe it, dude. You're doing the Philharmonic and the Hollywood Bowl. Those will be so far off the hook. And of course, they're the end of the tour, so you've got everything worked out, man. So if you want to see Herbie, he's doing a tour through all of September. That's so cool. Can't wait to see you, man. You're awesome. Yeah, so we're playing with the Prophecy, which is part of the Korg Collection Volume 3. We have unified it, so all of the patches are available with all of the really cool, weird. It's so fun. Prophecy is so fun for getting weird sounds out of. You can just start a knit and just go into Rezo and bringing this up. You get these great weird harmonic overtones and stuff like that modulate it. And so fun to play with. So there's all sorts of fun patches in here that are and again, layer them away and all sorts of stuff. So it came out pretty cool, I think. And again, on the real-time controls, spin this up and now it's polyphonic. By the way, I want to point out there is, I believe I have it on the Plugin Guru page, promotions. It was 808 day a while ago, right? Like last week, last Sunday. But there's the 808 library for Unify is free, still available. It's over 200, actually 347 samples of TR-808. There's my own kit. All sorts of cool heavy duty sounds there. There's also menus. There's this cat named Sharuz Rafui. I want to say his name right. Sharuz Raufi. thank him. Thank you, Shauz, for allowing us to include these. The kick menu has something like over 100, I think it's 101 kicks. So every note on the keyboard, keyboard here, and then even octaves up and below that, if you go to other octave ranges, just kick drums or just all the snares and all sorts of different mixes. So this is a free library. There's a couple grooves available that are default. This is so that you can drag your own MIDI files in. Someone just emailed me saying that they didn't have where it showed MIDI files in red because they weren't playing. That's because you haven't updated to the latest patches. When you get your Unify update, we'll close on this. Go to the desktop. Let me see here. Unify 1.5.3. Where is it? Unify update. Oh, I don't have it here. Oh, let's do this. If I go here, where is it? Here. 1.5.3. Even the updater replace. Oh, that means, okay, good. Now double click. You get the installer for updating Unify to 1.53, right? Some of you are forgetting there's also the .guru file. Drag this over Unify so that it will update all the patches and the settings in Unify. So there's two updates. There's the Unify update and then like a patch update, which is the .guru file. That will get set when you play these, they'll play. And you get this, the MIDI file will play because it now has added the MIDI file to Unify. Okay? So, thank you for joining. It's been a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed a little tour of the Prophecy. It's a cool synth. Don't forget, Cymatics has their 6th anniversary going on. Happy anniversary to you guys. And Origin sample rate conversion, saturation, random pitch movement stuff, noise, and 2 types of Roland chorus modeled into a single plugin for free. So it's cymatics.fm, and that is yours to enjoy. Herbie Hancock, we got to point out again, go to his website, check out where he's playing, get on an airplane, go do a vacation and see him play somewhere. I saw him at the Jazz Festival in New Orleans, and that was completely insane. It was really, really cool. I'm looking for plugins to Unify these. Awesome. So cool. Any deals on the Korg collection? No, I don't have anything to do with pricing and stuff like that. Yeah, so Larry, here, I'll type it in here again. Cymatics, Cymatics.fm. That's the URL for the plugin. Herbie, you guys check that out. The big knob for sample rate, set it to post. Check this out. So here, let's call it up real quick. I call it a character plugin. Just like you, it has character. So if we go over here to Cymatics, call up Origin. Those kind of stuff. And there's presets up here, so make sure you cycle through all the presets. And it has the normal ringy type of sample rate, but if you click post, does that really smooth where it's actually doing filter cancellation of any frequencies above. So instead of being this, much smoother, great sound. Crank up the saturation, bring up some record noise. So we took this to that. So enjoy. It's a very, very fun plugin. So, of course, Herbie, honor. It's a pleasure. All right. Take care of yourselves. Keep healthy. Watch out. COVID is crazy. I just came from San Francisco and everybody's wearing masks and being safe. That's what we got to do right now. Be safe. And we will see you next week on another live stream. So shout outs from wherever you are. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. Herbie, are you in LA right now? Eastside's in Essex, UK. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hey, everybody, happy birthday to Eastside's. Awesome. We love our community. Florida, Tom, good to see you. What are you doing here on your birthday? That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Eastsides. That sounds so cool. Oh, nice. There you go. Herbie's wishing you happy birthday too, man. Oh, where else would you be on a birthday? You guys are fun. So fun. All right. Well, so nice to hang with you all. Keep feeding the brain and the soul. Be positive, and we will see you next week for another fun hang. All right? God bless you all. See you later.